Hello, Player 3 here, the year is 1991, and you're watching Retro Rewind, another in-depth review filled with the history behind the game, a walk through the manual, my own gameplay ratings, and much more. This time, the head bone's connected to the rib bone's connected to the leg bone. That's right, it's Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. Following the release of The Secret of Monkey Island, its director Ron Gilbert, in an interview from LucasArts' The Adventurer magazine Volume 1, mentioned the existence of a sequel, much to the interviewer's surprise. This had been Gilbert's plan, a sequel, a trilogy in fact, as he envisioned from the very beginning, after deriving inspiration from the Disney Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. As we know now, it became more than that. This sequel was created in the same Scum game engine as The Secret of Monkey Island, as was the third installment, though the Curse of Monkey Island would be different visually following the departure of Ron Gilbert before he could realize his trilogy concept. It was around this time, following the release of The Secret of Monkey Island and the development of Monkey Island 2, that Lucasfilm Games and other subsidiaries merged to be known as LucasArts going forward. Thus, Monkey Island 2 became the first title under that new name. It was also around this time that the team at LucasArts moved from Skywalker Ranch to San Rafael, California. As programmer Dave Grossman said in issue 28 of Retro Gamer magazine, when Monkey Island 1 finished, we immediately started Monkey Island 2. It was like one continuous project. Ideas that didn't make the cut for The Secret of Monkey Island were repurposed for the second, and that Monkey Island humor continued on, as did the wacky ways to solve puzzles. We generally work in the same direction that the player does. That is, we start with a goal. For example, we want to steal something from Captain Kate. We think of all the obvious ways to accomplish the goal: purse snatching, threats, charm, magnets, trained weevils, and if possible, eliminate one by one until the obvious ideas are exhausted and we're forced to come up with something more interesting. Do this for long enough and eventually you have a whole game out of it. With this puzzle dependency making up basically the entire game, those were the parts worked out first, and the plot followed in after the fact. Development was underway, and with the team at LucasArts being so well versed in the Scum game engine, the game took shape rather quickly. That, and that graphic adventure games weren't that technologically complex. A graphics adventure, plural, was more like puppet theater than a film-quality cinematic extravaganza, and the story and puzzles required far fewer resources to implement. The backgrounds in-game were first penciled out by artists, then scanned into Photoshop or Deluxe Paint. I forgot how old Photoshop actually was, from 1987, created by Thomas and John Knoll. The latter was working at Industrial Light and Magic at the time, whose parent company was, you guessed it, Lucasfilm. So it was only right that they used it. This was the method Lucasfilm adventure games followed, their 3 passes. The first, as mentioned, artist renditions, 2, scanning, digitizing, and polishing the artwork, and 3, finishing touches. This streamlined the process. This, along with a planned schedule and rough due dates, led to Monkey Island 2 being finished and released just over 1 year after The Secret of Monkey Island. While I'm at it, since I played the special edition on Steam, I might as well briefly mention the development side of that as well. LucasArts was hesitant at first to revisit the Monkey Island series, but The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition was a huge success, so project lead Craig Derrick had a much easier time convincing LucasArts to give the go-ahead to make the Monkey Island 2 Special Edition. This time with some logistical challenges working out of both California and Singapore for the development, and now with the inclusion of in-game commentary, which I noticed while playing, but didn't listen to this as this was my first time playing. I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. So I'll have to go back through and listen to that later. But for now, that's that. There's so much more than I expected there to be as far as behind the scenes, the making of info. So if I missed some bit of trivia that was your favorite about the making of Monkey Island 2, let me know in the comments what that was. Okay, on to the manual. Though I've made this a main part of the videos, I still somehow forget to read through the game manual before playing it sometimes. This being one of those times. Though kind of on purpose, as with it being the special edition on Steam, I just looked through the Help and Options tab in the menu. But I still want to go through the original manual. So that's what we'll do here. And maybe I'll stumble across something I wish I had known while playing the game and regret having not read this manual beforehand. Alright, so a fairly short manual, 8 pages long, starting with About Monkey Island 2,
LeChuck's Revenge.
In Monkey Island 2,
LeChuck's Revenge.
you play the role of Guybrush Threepwood, in the months since he defeated the ghost pirate LeChuck and rescued his one true love, Governor Elaine Marley. In Monkey Island, Guybrush has made his way to Skabibi Island, as opposed to Skamumum Island from the first game, in search of the biggest treasure of them all, Big Whoop. Here's where you come in. You direct the actions of Guybrush in his search for adventure, treasure, and the validation of his peers. Guybrush faces many obstacles in his path, not the least of which is the specter of
LeChuck's Revenge.
If this is your first computer adventure game, be prepared for an entertaining challenge. Be patient, even if it takes a while to figure out some of the puzzles. If you get stuck, you might need to solve another puzzle first, or find and use an object. But hang in there and use your imagination. You and Guybrush will eventually prevail. And don't lose your Mix and Mojo Voodoo ingredient proportion dial. Without it, you won't be able to play the game. Oh no! I never had one to begin with. What am I gonna do? If you lose the dial, you may purchase another from Lucasfilm Games. Call 1415-721-3333. Hold on, I gotta make a quick phone call.
Hi, you've reached ASAP Courier Service. If you're calling about courier service, either to get a quote, to place an order, or inquire about a past or current delivery, press 0 now. Press 0. Couriers, how can we help you?
Yeah, I lost my Mix and Mojo Voodoo ingredient proportion dial. I'm calling to purchase another one.
Whoa.
Beyond the about and getting started sections, we have playing the game, which I'll do in a minute. Hold on, let me just scroll through half the manual. I know how to play it already. It uses the same scum engine that the Secret of Monkey Island used, so the same controls. Okay, things to try in Woodtick. Look at the sign next to the bridge. Place the cursor over the sign. Notice that the verb look at is highlighted. Okay, more stuff I know. Wait. Do you mean the no shoveling sign? Hold on. Select the verb pick up. Position the cursor over the sign. He will walk over to it and try to pick it up. An icon will be added to your inventory. Fuck! Ugh. That's the shovel! The first thing I got stuck on in the game, and it was the one thing the manual told me step by step how to get. Ah! Now I don't really want to read the talking characters part, or the function keys part, or the our game design philosophy. Ooh, I'll read that. We believe that you buy games to be entertained. Yes. Not to be whacked over the head every time you make a mistake. Yes. We think you'd prefer to solve the game's mysteries by exploring and discovering, not by dying 1,000 deaths. Well, I do like Dark Souls. We also think you'd like to spend your time involved in the story. Yes. Don't assume that every wrong step will result in death. Usually, you'll get another chance. I appreciate that. If you want to speed up gameplay, you can order a hint book from Lucasfilm Games. 1-800-STAR Wars. Oh, I gotta make another phone call. Depending on which version you play, when you open the game, this won't be the same for you. For me, I played the Special Edition on Steam, just as I did for the Secret of Monkey Island, and kept the game on retro mode. But something I didn't realize for the Monkey Island 2 Special Edition compared to the Secret of Monkey Island was that there was voice acting in this one. I mean, there was in the first one too, but only when the modern version was toggled. This time, it played throughout, retro or modern. And I must say, I liked that a lot. The voice acting was very well done. Now, into the game itself. As the manual says, as the story opens, Guybrush is attempting to explain to Elaine Marley just how he managed to get himself into this fix. Shortly, the scene flashes back to a campfire on Scab Island, where Guybrush is regaling his new friends with the thrilling tale of his stupendous defeat of the ghost pirate LeChuck. These sequences are known as cutscenes, plural. Short, Animated sequences like scenes from a movie, which can provide clues and information about the characters. Cutscenes are also used to show special animated sequences, such as when Largo Legrand graces Scab Island's tavern with his phlegmatic presence. When you are viewing a cutscene, you do not direct the action. You begin directing Guybrush's actions as soon as he arrives on the bridge leading to Woodtick. Knowledge. Part 1. The Largo Embargo. Taking over right where the manual said I would, and where I mentioned the sign with the shovel that I wish I knew about earlier. And the commentary option that I did not click. Also, Guybrush is absolutely loaded. Look at that inventory, good lord. And as I try to cross said bridge, who do we meet but Largo Legrand himself and his embargo on Scab Island. Oh, all my money's gone. Fuck. Now, from what I learned from the secret of Monkey Island is that I need to check every room, every nook and cranny, and talk to everyone I can until all dialogue options are exhausted, because you never know what combination of things are needed to solve the puzzles in this game to move on. The townsfolk of Scab Island include the woodsmith, the bartender and owner of the Bloody Lip Bar and Grill, the Chad himself, Wally B. Feed, the cartographer, the laundry guy Mad Marty, oh great he's deaf, just like the start of the first game, with the lookout guy being blind. Of course we have that again with a deaf guy. He's definitely going to be helpful. And hey, I know these three, the men of low moral fiber. Fancy meeting you three here. I met them on the streets of Melee Island in the first game. They spent most of their time sleeping here, so not great to talk to. The innkeeper and his pet alligator in his inn with a whopping one room, which is of course occupied by, you guessed it, Largo Legrand. What is that alligator eating? Are those Cheetos Puffs? Outside of Woodtick on Scab Island, I think it is. Yeah. Outside of Woodtick on Scab Island, we have another old friend, the Voodoo Lady, and our first clues, our first mission, the main mission, to rid Scab Island of Largo and his embargo. Now I need to gather some supplies, one from each of the 4 basic voodoo groups. Something of the thread, something of the head, something of the body, and something of the dead. So a piece of Largo's clothes, a lock of his hair, some of his bodily fluid, ew, and a body part of a dead relative of his. Well, there's a cemetery, all with terrific tombstones and crypts. You know, not because they're dead, but what they say. But one, Marco Largo Legrand. Hell on sea or sand, the good news is he's dead. The bad news, he bred. Imagine being that bad of a guy that's what gets written on your tombstone. And now begins me being stumped from not thinking far enough out of the box, because all I needed was that damn shovel from the sign. But it wasn't until after I exhausted the hint button hints that I needed to pull out the official Monkey Island 2
LeChuck's Revenge
hint book, and I learned of the shovel in the sign. I'd like to say I would have gotten there eventually, but I was running circles at this point. So that was the dead, 3 to go. I already knew of some of Largo's bodily fluids, as he spit on the wall of the bar earlier. But how was I to pick it up? Ah, but of course, with a blank piece of paper from the floor of Wally's cartography shop. The head was the easiest. Largo had a wig in his room. I was close to figuring out the thread on my own, but I had to use the hint book again for that. So now I could get Largo's threads from Old Mad Marty. Slay, Largo? Toil and trouble, boil and bubble, mix them together, and what do you get? Bippity boppity boo, something like that. I got a voodoo doll. Time to confront Largo. Yeah, take that. Oh, Guybrush, don't taunt him with LeChuck's beard. Okay, Largo. Ugh. I don't like knowing that LeChuck's undead beard is tickling your willy right now. This is bad. He's gonna bring LeChuck back to life. Not Ghost LeChuck, but undead LeChuck. This is bad. Okay, Captain Dread, I see I have a choice. Fat Island or Booty Island. Governor Marley is at Booty Island. So set sail for Booty Island. Part 2, 4 map pieces. Oh no, there he is! LeChuck, returned from the dead. This is no bueno. He wants a voodoo doll of Guybrush. Okay, now, between part 1 and 2, from now on, I'd call this spoiler territory, so if you wish to avoid them and skip to after the gameplay portion here, you can skip to this time through the timestamp in the description. Alright, sail on, Captain Dread. Taking the scenic route, aren't we? Do you know where you're going? Oh, yeah, you do. Okay. Here we are, Booty Island. Right off the bat, we have an antique shop and a costume shop. These are both exactly what I expected and nothing what I expected. For example, the antique dealer has a bunch of pirate merchandise with a piece of the map I need for 6 million pieces of 8. Okay. A rock and roll collector's plate, that's clearly Elvis. And a parrot next to a sign, beware of parrot, that's admiring itself in a mirror. Very good. How about the costume shop? What are all these trademarked costumes? Are these actually from stuff with actual trademarks, or do they just make all this up for the giggles? Sir, I have to rent a costume. Please. Fine, he won't give in. What else does this town have to offer? Stan? Oh, he sells coffins now. And he's got the deals. Hey, don't be measuring me for a coffin behind my back. How would you like to be in one? Oh, he just gets right in there. What if I close it on him? Okay, how do I lock it? I'll have to figure that out later. Because I need that key on the wall. Don't worry, I come back and lock him in there. Next, oh good, the Haktua contest. I would like to play, call me Juicius Maximus III. The juice, not that juice. Okay, there's more than meets the eye here. One more try. Okay, we need to check out the rest of the island. Well, there's a big tree with spiral holes. I definitely need to make stairs of some sort. I'm getting the lay of the land first. Then I can try to piece together all this. What else? Okay, I need an invitation and costume to get to Elaine's mansion. Why is everyone Guybrush knows trying to take credit for taking out LeChuck? This ain't cool. Alright, that's all there is on Booty Island. Set sail to Fat Island. Once again, the scenic route. So, is there a reason it's Fat Island? There's a Governor Fat, spelled P-H-A-T-T. Is he F-A-T fat? Oh, God, yes he is. Well, no fucking wonder. What are those feeding tubes? Every couple seconds? Really? Okay, he doesn't like me. I'll be back. Well, that was easy. Remember, every nook and cranny. A manila envelope. Yes, and of course, a gorilla envelope. At the wharf is where we need to start solving the puzzles now. There's a fisherman we wager a bet on, but this back alley gambler is the first piece. Following this winner to a door with a man who has the winning numbers hidden behind a somewhat confusing riddle. Now I've got the invitation. Show it to the costume shopkeep and he'll give me my costume. What could it be? No. No, no! Oh my god. People are gonna be talking about me. Wow, they're all ignoring me. This party sucks. Excuse me, I'd like to go upstairs. Excuse me? Get out of the way! Do I have to go back out and climb a window or something? Oh shit, the groundskeeper knows me. Oh. Okay, well, that's one way to get in there. Oh no, not this again. Guybrush, you old charmer, you. Pooper duper? How is that a term of endearment? That is the point where I would leave too. Might as well keep trying to swoon her so I can get a piece of the map. Okay, that didn't really work out as planned. Ooh, hey, while I'm here, I need this fish for the fisherman. Yo, Frenchie, what crawled up your ass and died? This is some Monty Python level insulting right here.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberry.
Are you about done? Okay, time to guess. How do I get this fish? A, do I use the banana with Guybrush, eat it, and leave the banana peel for him to slip on, allowing me to get past to get the fish while he's down? B, do I whack him over the head with a stick, knocking him out so I can get past him? C, do I walk around the mansion while he follows me and insults me because he has to make sure I hear it all, get far enough away that I slip in and get the fish before he can catch me? Or D, get the fish from somewhere else? Yeah, it was C. Of course it was. So I got the fishing pole from the fisherman, because I got the bigger fish, definitely caught myself. Got the map from the cliff, though a bird stole it immediately. Got Captain Kate thrown in jail. Sorry, not sorry. Won the Haktua contest from mixing a potion to thicken my spit, cheated and waited for a little help from the wind. Went to go get that bird that took my map. when all of a sudden, it all went red. What? Mom? Dad? A song? Ah! I was absolutely gobsmacked. My eyes were showing the same shock that Guybrush has, but I love this song. Wait, what? The head bone's connected to the rib bone? The rib bone's connected to the leg bone? You know, I don't care. This song is fire. Oh shit! Literal chills. It's LeChuck. I don't think that root beer is gonna affect Guybrush the same. Oh god, okay. So with that nightmare out of the way, and a little help from Guybrush, the dog, I got the piece of the map. The third piece I got from talking to a dead guy, and the last one I got from cheating in a homemade grog drinking contest. After failing it a few times before I knew I needed to cheat, Guybrush really loves to cheat. That bastard Largo was on my ass the entire time though, and was the eyes and ears for LeChuck. I was in trouble. Not as much trouble as Wally though. Not yet, anyways. Okay, now I'm in as much trouble as Wally. I was getting somewhere though as I was using the song lyrics from before to get through these secret doors. But this part didn't really amount to much. So... Dinky. Polly want a cracker? Polly know where treasure is? I'm listening. Okay. How about Herman? Ah, a philosopher. Neo-existentialist Cartesian Zen Taoism. Uh-huh. Could you teach me some? A philosophical puzzle. Oh, here we go. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, what color is it? Forest green? Cyan. Lavender. Brown. Red.
A few minutes later.
Shark bite. Sashimi green. Ebony. Ivory. Menthol. Okay, I give up. Does this even have an answer? Okay, Polly, you probably are the more helpful one. Where are those crackers? Head due east from the pond to the dinosaur. Got it? Okay, I'm lost. Oh good, a hint line. Yo, hello Chester, I'm lost in the Dinky Island jungle in Monkey 2. What the crap? I'll figure it out myself then. Come on, Polly. Head north from the dinosaur to the pile of rocks. Thanks, Polly. Head due east from the rocks to the X. Herman? You mother... Ugh. Oh, hey, this is where the story started. Where to now? Oh no, not again. What am I learning here? Brothers? Okay, LucasArts. Nice one. He's gonna torture me? Send me screaming to another dimension of infinite pain. Oh my god, so evil. I gotta get out of here. It'd be nice if he didn't track me down so quickly. It's hard to find stuff. Wait. Oh. Oh! The thread, the head, the body, the dead. The reverse Uno card. A voodoo doll for you too, LeChuck. Haha! I win. Okay. Okay, another Star Wars reference. Removing the mask. What is this lore? What a grudge-holding bastard. What? What's going on? What is this 5D chess? I don't know what's going on. Is everything a lie? Is everything just in Guybrush and his brother's heads from being kids? Are both these games lies? Hey, no, that's not it. Oh my god. Monkey Island 2: LeChuck's Revenge was released in December of 1991. What day? Nobody knows. Released on MS-DOS and to the Amiga and Mac in 1992. Following the aforementioned merger and renaming to LucasArts, the Monkey Island 2 box art was the first to feature the LucasArts Golden Guy logo. It was also the first in the Monkey Island series to sell poorly. The only thing it wasn't first at was being the first Monkey Island game, though it sure tried to be. Damn! Even not compared to the first one, it still sold poorly. Only about 25,000 units at the time of release before LucasArts looked for other games to focus on, and ultimately a new team for the further Monkey Island releases. until the Atari Island license agreement for Star Wars titles ran out in the early 1990s and LucasArts could focus on Star Wars games, which ultimately saved the company from going under. But though sales were low, reviews seemed to be high. The first one here being from CU Amiga magazine in 1995 following a re-release of Monkey Island 2. Monkey Island 2 is regarded by most as the best graphic adventure ever, with the best animation, storyline, sound effects, music, and general feel of all of them. Damn, high praise! And with a 91%. Almost thought it would be higher after reading that review. Who else? Computer and Video Games Magazine issue 123 give it a 96%. Wow. Again, nothing but praise. Fab, Ace, Topper, Kushti? Everyone loved this game. And you know what? So did I. And that ending? Wow. The ending came from the lack of an idea for how to end the game. A product of panic more than anything else. One Saturday morning, laying in bed, it popped into Ron Gilbert's head. And the reception? Half and half. Either you loved it or you hated it. I loved it. It felt like there was so much love poured into this game. Not something corporate would demand. Like I said, I love this game. And for that, I'm giving Monkey Island 2
LeChuck's Revenge.
a 9 out of 10. Not quite as good as The Secret of Monkey Island, but nearly there. What those differences boiled down to were the graphics of all things, which, though nearly identical, I thought mainly the color palette, mainly from the first part, was making it hard to discern different parts of the background from the foreground and Guybrush. And the difficulty of puzzles led me to using hints more than I wanted or expected to, but that's mostly on me. And I'm sure the novelty of it not being my first time with a Monkey Island game, coupled with the expectations I may have had after the first game, all playing their part in this rating. But 9 out of 10 seems more than fair. I hope the Curse of Monkey Island can hold a candle to the first two, but I don't have particularly high hopes. I'll get around to that one eventually. As for the showcase here, a 9 puts Monkey Island 2 in 3rd overall, 2nd in other games I've played on Windows, only behind The Secret of Monkey Island, and 1st for the games I've played this year. As for games I've rated with the same level of enjoyment as Monkey Island 2, The Secret of Monkey Island, Sonic Adventure DX, The Immortal, Conquests of the Longbow, Night Trap, and Resident Evil 2. So if you've played Monkey Island 2 and enjoyed it, you might enjoy those games as well. Or if you've played one of those, you might enjoy Monkey Island 2. I certainly did. As I said, I'll get around to the rest of the Monkey Island games eventually. I already have the Curse of Monkey Island and Escape from Monkey Island, the 3rd and 4th titles, in my Steam library. From what I've read and learned about the making of the first two, at least, I don't think I'll like Curse and Escape as much. Curse was made without any of the original game's designers as part of it, and Escape was now done in 3D. I hope I still like them, I just don't think I'll love them. But I could be pleasantly surprised. If you've already experienced that from playing all the Monkey Island titles, let me know if my speculations are justified and what you thought. If you have any game recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll enjoy what I have in store. That's all for now. See you next time.